You read the amendment.
I can take care of it. I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot give you the line. Wait, give me a second because I have to reconcile it with my notes. The line is after Philippine salt. Where is that? Section 4. Philippine salt. Is that it? For the attainment. Philippine salt. There you go. Okay. So on page 3, line 1, after the word salt, delete the period and change it to a colon and insert the phrase, provided that the roadmap shall be aligned with the objectives and continued implementation of Republic Act number 8172 or the Act for Salt Iodization Nationwide, parentheses, ASIN, close parentheses, which shall include the mandatory iodization of all food-grade salt as required under the ASIN law. And we submit. End.
What does the sponsor
It
say?
says end. This one that had something else.
Would the sponsor like to confer with the proponent of the amendment?
So we accept the amendment.
The amendment's accepted and therefore.
Thank you.
amendment's
Mr.
adopted.
President, subject to style, because I repeated the line, in the existing bill, it says the roadmap shall include the following objectives. Nandun pa rin yun. So may I just ask the Secretary to review subject to style? Pero wala nang nagbago doon. Thank you.
So if there is a double, again, we don't want to have a double insertion.
Yes.
of a-
No, no. Mr. President, it's just that yung siningit ko includes that phrase,
Double
the
phrase.
roadmap shall include the following objectives. Nandun pa rin yun.
So we are all right in reiterating it both times,
No, no.
or just mentioning it both times.
I mentioned, I had said insert the phrase and then I read that phrase.
Yes.
So that phrase is actually still in the law. So maybe we can just ask the Secretary to print out what I said so that makita in a clean copy. But there's no repetition, Your Honor.
All right. Subject to style. So it's been adopted. Please proceed.
Ito na. Tapos na to.
Siya, wala na ito. Ano ang
Okay,
page
I have
four?
an amendment on page 4.
Please proceed.
Line 9, insert the phrase Executive Director of the National Nutrition Council, parenthesis NNC, close parenthesis, and re-letter subsequently.
Hindi. Uh, uh, Mr. President, it's in the original law which we did not remove, so we don't have to include it.
Your Honor, during the, if I may explain, during while we were on break, I had asked the sponsor what is the difference of this newly created salt council in this bill and the existing board ba yun? The existing board in the ASIN law. And her honor said that they are two separate entities. The ASIN board will continue, particularly for food grade
Yes,
salt.
yes.
And then this council is more for the development of the industry.
Yes,
So the reason, Your Honor, we are requesting, our proposal is to include the National Nutrition Council here is because we just want to be sure that the development of the salt industry will not forget that there is a health component. Ano lang naman siya, this
No.
representative is one of 13 or now 14 members that are all that have everything to do with trade and industry and agriculture. Yun lang, masama lang sa perspective. So in the same
But,
way that her honor is accepting our amendments that have a health perspective, it's just so that hindi naman makalimutan na may ganon.
No, but there is a member, the Secretary of the Department of Health.
Okay, in that case, Your Honor, although and the Nutrition Council is an attached agency, if Your Honor would prefer that they just work with the Secretary of Health, that is okay with me. We will withdraw the amendment, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And also, just a quick policy question, my dear colleagues, and the minority leader could help me out on this together with our colleagues on the floor. On the creation of the Salt Development Council, Madam Sponsor, if I may be able to ask. Because right here, I see all the secretaries of the departments. They're all very busy. And I was watching a news item recently that they were not able to implement the law because they could not get a quorum with all these department secretaries in a council, in a particular council for a particular issue.
Yeah.
Do you want to just limit it to the department secretaries, or would you
No,
want,
no, they can send representative.
should we spell it out? I think we should spell it out, Madam
Yes.
Chair,
Okay.
kasi if we
I
don't,
I would
uh,
recommend, Your Honor, that we spell it out because
Okay.
yesterday
yes.
in the DepEd hearing, the VP secretary mentioned that they are involved in what we obviously we have passed hundreds of laws that require the secretary. So for the information of the body, in all the laws that this representation has passed in the last few years, we make it very
Or-
clear that they can send a representative, Your Honor. It's
Yes.
up to the chair, the
Yeah.
sponsor, if they want it to be like we would usually put not lower than a USEC level or an ASEC level. We would put that, Your Honor, for the guidance of the implementing agencies.
Maybe the end of all the amendments given, we'll go back to that. We'll ask the sponsor for her staff to craft the wording,
Yeah.
and then we can include that later on.
Okay. That we accept that, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. So we'll ask the secretary, the ComSec to prepare the wordings to place the order designate. It's usually order designated under secretaries maybe, so that they can, under secretary level siguro para. Yes, Senator Tolentino.
Just an interjection, Mr. President. Perhaps in a conversation made with the sponsor, she agreed to delete the provision that would include implementing rules and regulations. So perhaps it should now be spelled out in the law itself that designees should be allowed to attend, Mr. President.
Yes.
We will
So
designate.
during the proper time when we take up the section on implementing rules and regulations, we can tackle that. But we all agree that there should be a line that says that their order designates. Okay, so we'll prepare. I'll come back to that later. Please proceed. So what was the motion on the health?
No, we withdrew, Your Honor. We
withdraw.
withdrew.
Okay,
Yes.
please proceed on the next amendments.
And my next one is not until page 10, so I yield the floor to Her Honor.
So we go back to
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We go back to page 6.
Okay. Okay. On section 9, page 6, line 18, after the phrase DNR, insert the phrase through its appropriate bureaus.